How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Chuusotsu. Last week I was at the beginning of my super deadly cold. It was not fun. But we are back. I'm feeling mostly better. And actually, by the time you start seeing this, I'll be getting ready to watch Avengers Endgame, because I'm going to see that tonight. So, I'm so excited. Oh man, it's gonna be interesting. I guess I don't know, maybe I'm just not aware of it, but has there been anything quite like the Marvel universe of movies? It's just awesome. I mean, there's definitely problems with it. It's not perfect, but it's kind of cool to see this culmination of so much run up with all these characters and actors that have all stayed on and all done their roles, and it's finally gonna have this kind of wrap up of a lot of stories. They're still gonna do some stories, I'm sure, but this is the big one, and they're probably going to start putting down the Marvel Cinematic Universe after this, until they pick it up in 20 years when they reboot it or something, because I'm sure that'll happen. It's made too much money not to happen. So, all right. Anyway, in Chuusotsu land, because I'm rambling about stuff that doesn't even matter right now, we have had a bit of a clash where Aure is still running away. She's been a little better. She's been able to rely on her friends, but now her friends are concerned with the way she's approaching things, and the fact that she seems to profess a determination to take the reevaluation, and yet seems quite content with stuffing that desire away and not actually acting on it. They feel like she's not being honest with herself, not honest with them, and they want to try and help her. However, they've taken some time to step away to talk and think things through, and Aure feels like she might be being abandoned, which is her greatest, the culmination of her fear. That's ultimately what led her to choose the life of a Chuusotsu, to choose the life of seclusion initially, because she felt like dealing with people and being ignored and abandoned was a lot easier to handle if you just never interact with anybody. I will say this. I actually received a message from somebody who actually lives a very similar lifestyle to that this past week. They messaged me on a kind of a personal messaging, just talked about saying, hey, I live this life. I live exactly the way she does, and I was wondering if you were interested in talking about it. So I asked questions, and I don't understand everything about it, but I definitely have a greater understanding and scope of the situation. I think I'll bring it up that conversation I think I'll bring up, but I'm not going to talk about specifics, obviously. It's the person's personal life, and they do feel that while they do live kind of a secluded, away from reality life, if they ever bring it up, they say they get kind of hounded on. Kind of happened to Aure when she tried to defend Chuusotsu in that forum last episode. They said that that's the same thing that they experienced too. So I obviously don't want to draw too much attention to them, because I'm not going to be preparing a battleground for them if I can help it. But it was interesting because I truly don't know if I can comprehend this type of lifestyle, at least not in the purest of senses. Sure, I have times where I wish I could, just set down my burdens and just kind of veg, but I guarantee you I never could do that permanently. It's just not me. But there are people who do have this type of lifestyle, and their reasons for doing so can vary. My guess, though, is that the majority of the time it's not out of laziness. I'll try not to cough too much today, but we'll see what happens. So, I don't know, just food for thought, and I'll see if I can pass on some nuggets of insight that I gained from that conversation as we play through the rest of the story. They said the biggest difference between them and Aure is that Aure does seem like she wants to change. She's really having a hard time with it, but in her heart she doesn't like who she is and wants to be different. And that's the difference for them. They feel like their life as it is the best life for them. I don't know whether or not that's true, because I don't really fully understand everything, despite all the questions I was able to ask. There's so much more I just don't get. I don't know if I can ever get. But also just the fact that it's not my place to decide that, so I'm not going to. Anyway, let's move on with Aure as she contemplates what it means to have friends who suddenly detach themselves. We know that they did it out of the kindness of their hearts because they want to try and figure out how to help Aure, but she might not see it that way. She was alone in her room. Her study materials lay scattered across the desk. She reached out to her arithmetic workbook. She opened it up and began to sweat. Everything past there was completely blank. She hadn't touched it at all. What had she been doing? She'd been reading manga, drawing manga. This workbook had 40 pages of problems. The same one for her kanji workbook. If she was taking the reevaluation seriously, these workbooks would be just an opening act. She would have to study several times. No, several tens of times more than this. She would have to build up her stamina, work on her general subjects, and do much, much more. It was like an endless wasteland. An ocean. Outer space itself. The path laid out before Aure was so long that it felt like she'd never reach her destination, regardless of how she traveled. She felt the beating of her own heart. Marisugawa Aure's very being filled to the brim with this feeling of utter hopelessness. Like a balloon about to burst, her pressured heart continued to beat menacingly. Her chest tightened, like it was being squeezed. She unconsciously clenched her own chest, and she uttered the one word she wasn't supposed to. The word slipped out of her mouth, causing her to remember. She left through the entrance. Oh, she going to the roof? She wanted to breathe in some fresh air, and she carried it along with her. Her sketchbook. The same sketchbook she so lovingly used back in middle school. A remnant of her solitude she chose to bring over to her new life due to some lingering sense of attachment. She left the key in the place they decided upon. Her movements were sluggish, seemingly powerless. And then... Ooh, Kokoro. Are you gonna be able to help? She ran into Kokoro. Aure remembered that they had yet to even greet her this week. Up to the 4th week, she would go to the fountain after a meet-up with Kodiro, in order to stop Kokoro from dropping her glass bead. The glass bead suddenly caught her eye. She introduced herself. She brought out her gift from the apartment and put the key back in its designated spot. I don't know what that glass bead is. He's drawn attention to it, and as the world's gotten darker towards Chuusotsu, that glass bead's gotten darker too. The Marisugawa Aure, this conversation had become routine, but this time... Her heart jumped. She remembered. This was the very same question Kokoro asked her first time they met. That was her response at the time. Words that didn't feel like her own. She didn't understand it then, but now she had a certain inkling as to why. Just go away, I don't care about updates. That is one of the biggest flaws of Windows, is that you really can't turn off notifications properly. Like, I try. Trust me, I've gone in and I've asked them not to do it, but they just decide to anyway. I mean, it's good. I know I need to know, but goodness, sometimes. And then, this time out of her own will, she...
公務員を目指して奮闘していて、でも漫画が好きで、自分でも呆れるほど好きで、好きあらば落書きとか原稿とか、とにかく絵ばっかり描いちゃうような。
Yeah.
そんなただのしがない、どうしようもないデブリの二つ名がお似合いの中卒です。
Her introduction was fitting her own stature. She wouldn't allow any excuses to be made. She started feeling dizzy.
失礼します。心と同じ匂いがする。
Weird. After walking around aimlessly for a while, she ended up at the mall. She collapsed onto a bench. Oh, fetch.
お兄ちゃんから。あ、そっか。
Answer the phone! She had never answered the call before, because it always made her feel depressed. However...
もしもし、アルエです。
Thank goodness. She now did, because she felt weakened. Hi, it's me!
バカみたい。救いでも求めてるのかな。
Aure, are you doing well?
元気だよ。で、まだこっちに来たばっかりで、そんなすぐに変わらないよ。
That was a lie. She had already lived through several weeks, over 2 months worth of time. Marisagata Aure's mind was already on the edge of a cliff. So, are you getting along with your roommates?
それは大丈夫。
What kind of answer is that? I'll believe you. Anyway, there's nothing I'm worried about. It's actually why I called. Aure, you have a smartphone, right? Have you been looking at the net?
見てるけど。
Interesting. You see, there's been some bad air lately with people opposing their reevaluations. It's mostly just people letting out hot air, so if you end up seeing those kind of posts, don't take them seriously. Posts that declare Chuusotsu to be worthless and whatnot. Honestly, you're only wasting your time and energy by responding or even thinking about them.
そうなんだ。お兄ちゃん、私に注意を流
I
した
don't
くて
think the first time
電
you
話
would
かけ
have.
てくれてたんだね。ありがとう、お兄ちゃん。でも私別に気にしてなんかないから。大丈夫だから。
If you feel like you're being hurt, give me a call, okay?
本当に平気だから。それよりさ、お兄ちゃん、南越谷先生の新刊読んだ？
Not yet, no. I mean, it comes out today, doesn't it?
ああ、そうだった。それじゃあ、ゴングヤシオ先生のは何日か前に出た。
I haven't checked that out either.
そうなの？お兄ちゃん漫画好きなのに。
Not as much as you do, and I don't draw my own either. She felt her chest tighten. Yeah, I guess this is a good time to tell you. You moved out to live on your own after all. Uh-oh. Actually, I'm in a pretty tough spot right now. I don't have any time to read manga.
大変って何かあったの？
Yeah, first off though, I want you to know things will get better, even if they seem pretty bad at the moment, so don't feel responsible for it. Oh, fetch. The things her brother told her were enough to freeze Marisagata Aure's thoughts. Mom lost her part-time seal again. The reason is the same old health issue as always, but it doesn't look like the agency will be able to get her a new job for a while. I'm currently working 3 jobs, so I don't have time for manga. We decided upon this before you moved out, but Mom told me not to tell you. Still, I figured you were now ready to hear it. When you left the house, you looked so dependable, and as a member of our family, I felt like you needed to know. I work from morning to evening, but I'm not suffering, okay? Not at all. If anything, I'm having fun because I like it's all worth it. She ended the call. Fetch, dude, girl, what the heck? She didn't move from that spot despite being bumped into by other people. Hi, it's Mom. Did you make it to the station? Aure, this is your first time riding the train, right? I was so worried that you might have gotten lost. Today's also the first time you're meeting your new roommates, if I'm not mistaken. Your brother and I have been wondering if you'll manage to get along with them. It was the phone call she received right after arriving. Her mother had already lost her seal at that time. However, she didn't show any sign of it. and continued to address Aure in a cheery voice. Aure failed to pick up on that. She looked down at herself. She was wearing the clothes her mom bought for her, and the shoes her brother gave her as a present. Even though she deceived them both, they still loved her. They even gave her a smartphone, financial difficulties be damned. As for her... Oh man. She spent her time playing, with no end in sight. Even now, despite all her crippling worries, Aure still walked around carrying her sketchbook. It's like her family's learned how to sacrifice. They've learned that there are things that are worth fighting for, and that there are things that are worth giving up. I mean, like the great example is her brother giving up manga. He loves manga, right? It's a passion of his, very similar to the passions of mine, like video games or whatnot. But when times are tough, you put it all on hold. You take care of the things that are most important to you, and or at least that's what you should try to do. There's a joy to that. There is a peace to that. But it can be easy to get caught up in like the day-to-day things, especially when you're this young, though. I mean, 16-year-olds, I don't know very many of them who would really truly be able to recognize or take care of things like that. So quite a burden to bear, though. I've had my time. I remember growing up, when I was really young, we were super poor. So I didn't really understand that we were poor, but we were. And then while I was in college, especially after we got married, we were pretty much dirt poor. And it was very hard for us because at the time I was going to school and my wife was working full-time as a chemist, which ironically her first chemistry job paid her almost nothing. Like it was pretty, it was all that we had access to, but it was pretty bad, like money-wise. And then we got pregnant and she found out there was twins, and then she started having medical problems and she couldn't go to work anymore. And so then I frantically got a job trying to keep us afloat. But even then, like, she needed so much help at home, I ended up having to quit because we had nothing else. We were destitute, but she couldn't function on her own. She was bedridden, and her life and the life of the babies were at stake. And like it was like one of those things where like I was doing the best I could to work jobs. I was getting ready to get a second job, but then she needed me home, so I couldn't even do that. I had to quit, and then we thank our lucky stars that we had saved money. We had saved money as best we could and kept our tax return and not like gone on a spending spree and just buying a bunch of stuff, because we managed with like heavy budgeting. We managed to survive, and thankfully, because of great programs that are allowed through the government, when it came to the medical burden, the medical burden was taken care of for us, which we would still be paying that off today if we'd had to, because we would have been so far behind in that because we had no means. But then, like, you know, a lot of people get to enjoy like a maternity leave. No, we, like, the business that we were working with, they used up all of her maternity leave with her being home, like on doctor's orders, not able to work. And so a week after we'd had the boys, she had to go back to work, and I stayed home with them. And we would go on this insane schedule where I planned out my school classes to all happen like early in the morning. And so, I mean, with infants, they don't sleep, so I would stay up all night with them, catching like 30-minute naps between taking the sessions of feeding them, changing them, and rocking them back to sleep. And I'd catch a nap, and then it would start the cycle over again. And then at 6 in the morning, my wife would wake up, and she'd take over taking care of the boys. I would drive to school, and I'd go to classes all morning. And then I'd come home and frantically do as much homework as I could before she would go to work at 10. She purposely took a third shift, which meant that she would go to work around 11 o'clock, and she'd stay until like midnight. And she would work all evening and take care of the boys, and then she'd come home and she'd be just dead tired, and she'd go to sleep, and I'd get the boys to sleep, and then I'd catch 30 minutes of sleep throughout the day, and On every other day, I had to get to sleep in because my first class wouldn't be until 9:30. So like she would wake up still at 6 and let me get a few extra hours of sleep in. And that was our life for the first like 6 months. It's not even as bad as their situation, but it was pretty much on the bottom of life. And it was hard. If I hadn't had the support of friends and family, I don't know if I could have made it. I don't think we could have made it, and we barely made it. I remember we had one day when we were able to go out and just do something for ourselves, where we had her mom came into town and took care of the boys for a couple hours, and we wanted to go out and do stuff, and we were just so exhausted. We just went and sat outside and just kind of enjoyed the fresh air and just talked, and that was like our one time where we had time together in those first 6 months. Things have gotten a lot better though. Becca's doing good and I'm doing good, and we're very happy with where we are now. We worked our butts off to get to where we are now, and hopefully we'll continue to have improvement, but you never forget those days of being teetering on the edge of disaster financially, being literally like $100 could make all the difference in the world, and to know that like there's not really anywhere for you to go if something goes wrong. It's terrifying. And Aure's family's been living like that for months, if not years now. It's crazy.
あの掲示板の人たち、正論しか言ってなかった。
Chuusotsu. People who diverge from the path of the average citizen following their mandatory education period. The world called them inexperienced, juvenile, but reality might paint a different picture. Chuusotsu. People who graduated without any real conviction in their hearts. Chuusotsu.
今の私って、もしかしなくても、あの頃と同じことになってる?
You kind of are. The instant she realized this, reality began to flood into her mind. Blood drained from her face. A chill slithered down her spine. Perhaps she simply went back to the way she used to be. She stumbled forward. Guilt plowed into her heart. Her vision became blurred. Her sketchbook was in her hands. Her pulse started going wild. Looking up, she saw an emergency stairway. Here she goes. Is she gonna do it? Yet again. Oh, that's not good. A shrill cry erupted from the top of the general goods building. She collapsed on the spot. Without anyone to hug her, Aure ended up hugging her own knees, as if to protect herself from the entire world. Her sketchbook. Opening it, she found a clumsily drawn manga, the one she made with her best friend, the manga her mother once rejoiced over. She threw her sketchbook.
嫌い
So they're translating it to hate, but I thought Kirai was dirty.
私が大嫌い何なのマリス川アルエって一体何なの世界で一番不可解なのが自分なんて世界で一番見苦しいのが自分なんて私みたいな人間って他にいるのもしいるならその人はどうやって生きてるのわかんない全然わかんないよ
She felt like crying, but she didn't. The tears just wouldn't come. Somewhere in her heart, she still felt like she would be saved. That this was all happening to someone else.
救いようがないよこのゴミ人間ミヤサだったらこんなことにはなってないタイムリープなんてしたらきっと世界を救う失われたはずだった誰かの命を助けるし果たせなかった雪辱を達成したりもするそんな風に漫画の主人公はいつだってかっこいいのに
Fiction stories can do that, though. They can be inspirations to you. Because they may seem cool, but it's funny because like really good books are written by people who know how to capture the essence of people. And you can have fake characters that come across so real, just like this. And you can have them in impossible situations. Like Takaru and the girls in Love, or the lab mems of Steins Gate. You can take those people, they really feel like people, even if they're crazy. Even if they're drawings on a screen. Even if they have the trope-like attitudes that they sometimes come with. There's still something, when they're really well written, human, that's still there. Something beyond a definition.
私は何引きこもりの部屋から出て今度はタイムリープに引きこもり直したただそれだけじゃない死んじゃえ
No.
私なんか
15 years. For 15 years of reality. Marisuga Aure. No. The summary of Aure's life. Lies. Escapism. Optimism. Resignation. Duty. Freedom. Despair. Even though the words were different, they all held the same meaning.
そうだよね
She pulled out her smartphone and looked at the same message board. The anti-Chuusotsu movement fanned by Albedo was gaining momentum. It was flowing over to Twinter as well. At this point, its discriminatory nature was clear to see for all. Even so,
正論言われて当たり前にしか思えない
that was how perfectly their words applied to her. And so, as a result of that,
許せない私は私のことを
a springtime sky stretched above her. The wind had picked up a bit. Aure silently left the rooftop, suppressing the contradictions that even now threatened to burst forth into the open.
アルエご飯買ってきたよ返事がないただのヒッキーのようだあららそんな風に茶化しちゃ事実は事実今週も5日目というのに部屋から出ないとは動かざることヒッキーのごとしとは
Did I know
よ
she's
く
actually
言
in
った
there?
ものだけどアララは同胞がただの引きオタで終わるような人ではないと信じているそうでなくては世界の救済などはとてもじゃないが務まらない早く元気になってほしいね
Yeah. Around desk. Aure was not seen in front of her desk.
何やってるんだろう私
It had already been 3 days since Aure left the rooftop and retreated to her room. She rolled herself up in her bed to simply allow time to pass. She thought about various things. She wouldn't even respond to Aure at night.
漫画と罪滅ぼし、どう考えたって強制できるようなものじゃないのに。
Contradiction. Her contradictions remained.
今すぐにでも勉強を始めなきゃって思うのに、その気持ちは本物のはずなのに、どうしても動けない。こんな心境にあっても、それでも漫画のことばっかり考えちゃう。漫画のネタばっかり思いついて、それ以外は何も考えられない。どこかおかしいのかな、私。
I think the threshold of whether or not you need to seek professional help when it comes to stuff like lifestyles and ways of thinking is if it interferes with your ability to like perform life, you know, setting and reaching goals, doing things like getting groceries, feeding yourself, having interactions with other people. So yeah, I would be 110% saying, Aure, you need to get some help here.
それとも中卒は楽しいことに抗えないっていうあれかな。
I think there's something a lot deeper going on here.
違うよね、絶対。だってシールがあった頃から漫画への意欲に連敗続きだったし、私の人生設計ベタで塗りつぶされちゃったみたい。
Aure felt like she was singing. Her constant inner struggles would always end in failure. There was no answer to be found. She couldn't produce one. She was trying to convert her view on life into words, but she ended up going in circles, unable to distill into any single statement. She stared absentmindedly at her smartphone, specifically the anti-unmarked messenger board. It consisted of the same old Chuusotsu bashing.
またやってる。この人たち朝から晩まで同じことばっかり言ってて飽きないのかな。
Opposition to Chuusotsu taking a re-evaluation seemed to be increasing by the day, like a slowly festering wound. Its taint gradually spread throughout her wounded heart, like some kind of intelligent, tenacious bacteria. It robbed Aure of the ability to think rationally.
すべての中卒はバカーターになる可能性を秘めている。私もそうなる前にアカウント消しておかなきゃ。この人たちの言うこと全部正論だし、きっとこれも。今日何曜日だっけ？そろそろだったかな。1週間が終わるの。課題タイムリープどうすればいいんだろう。
Aure's vision grew blurry. She couldn't focus on anything. It was almost as if her desires were all leaking out into the atmosphere. She felt powerless. Sorry, I clicked early there. So when she opened up a thread on that forum, a certain post caught her eye. No, number 3. Self-proclaimed manga artist Chuusotsu exposure thread. Uh-oh. Time 13:53. Name Albedo. Oh no. There's no need to say anything, just take a look at the attached image. This was made by Chuusotsu. In addition, she aspires to be a government worker. Kokoro? Kokoro! Do you not think we should bleach her out? Fetch, man. The thumbnail forced a reaction out of her. The image Albedo had posted. There was no mistake. It was a 4-panel manga she drew several days ago. Wait, a 4-panel? How? She jumped out of bed and rummaged through her drawers. She checked it again. It was definitely the one she drew. The timestamp in the post said 2 p.m. It was now 5 p.m. How on earth? 3 hours, 180 minutes, 10,800 seconds. The amount of responses made in that time or frame were too numerous to even scroll through. Wait a minute. Hang on. I was getting distracted, but where's the... Can I... Shoot. No. I want to... No. Oh, backlog. Can I... Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay, 3 hours, 180 minutes, 10,080 seconds? That doesn't make any sense, because that's the assumption that a minute is 100 seconds. Are they on a different system now? Or just she just kind of going crazy there? Aure found herself petrified by fear. She was afraid to read the responses. Yeah, don't touch that girl. You are not in a state of mind to be able to handle internet criticism. She couldn't even begin to imagine the kind of hateful remarks being directed at her. Yeah, like, see, like, that's one of those things, like, I anticipate someday, if it hasn't happened already, stuff that I make is going to be posted on a forum like this, and people are just going to be bashing it, you know. I'm sure I could handle it, but I know it wouldn't make me happy. I imagine I would rather just not even know. She was terrified of it, yet her fingers automatically scrolled through them. I also would absolutely look, because I wouldn't be able to hold myself back either. She's got cat ears, lol. The heck? She's supposed to be a vampire? A Chuusotsu working on a manga. Might try working on your future first. This is the epitome of stupidity. Nothing can surprise me after this. She probably just copied someone else's work that she found funny. Doesn't this look similar to Mr. Minami Koshigaya's work? The most you can expect from Chuusotsu is trace art. No? Hang. That's actually kind of a compliment. They think it's good enough that they can recognize who her inspiration is and think that she just copied that. This is what makes them so retarded. Wait, maybe their retardation is what makes them throw their lives away to play all day. She threw her smartphone away and burrowed it into her bed. Hearing Aure scream, the other two girls rushed into her room. She pointed at her smartphone with trembling fingers. It's really... Why? How? Wait, so it's not going to be these two. Like, it can't be. Kokoro... Maybe, but I doubt it. That would be in here. Is Hollow somehow going through their stuff? She violently shook her head in denial. Scrolling down even further, out of a frozen place. She took the phone away from Aure. So it seemed like the Marisugawa... Oh my gosh. Marisugawa Aure's pen name written on the first page is her real name. Didn't take long to ID her. She's really dumb to be using her real name. Maybe she didn't think anyone would read it. She probably did it just to make herself feel good. Coincidentally, she really is a Chuusotsu. Strangely enough, she's actually got a math award back in middle school. Going from that to being a Chuusotsu means she probably got hooked on manga, pretty much lost all self-control. She lives with a few other Chuusotsu. They're probably using their parents' money. We should hurry the bleaching. Oh, fetch. Albedo's here. Alright, now we're cooking with gas. I'll use French connections to figure out where they live. With some luck, they'll convince the others to rethink their plans regarding reevaluations. Oh, so you really do have a super hacker friend. It's really bad. If they really whip themselves up into a frenzy here. How did this even get out there? That, and that. Not to mention that, and even that. I'll go through everything. She fell to her knees. She suddenly raised her head in realization.
ルディスペンサー、私たちを1週間前に戻して。
Right.
なんで
How did this happen?
どうしてこんな時に限ってねえ、お願い、大変なことになっちゃったの。お願いだからやり直させて。なんでよ。
無駄です、同胞。
どうしてそんなこと言うんですか？
だって同胞は自分が助かりたい一心しかないから。その恐怖を共有できない以上はシンクロなどとてもじゃないけど。今ま
での気持ちがあるじゃないですか。課題に失敗して3人離れ離れになりたくないっていう。
確かにその気持ちに変わりはないよ。でも私たちとの暮らしがアルエの最優先だった頃は良かった。違うよね。そうじゃなきゃずっと部屋で引きこもったりしないもんね。罪滅ぼしの自分のことで頭がいっぱいじゃ一緒にいたい気持ちがあっても
Oh my
シン
gosh.
クロはできないんじゃないかな。
This is so bad. Like, what a horrible week they might have to progress through.
私たちはアルエと同じ人生を送ってきたわけじゃないから。
それにアララたちはタイムリープへの見方が変わった。だからソウルリンクシステムが動かないのも。
何ですか？なんでそんなにクールでいられるんですか？
こんなものは同胞を出しに使って勝手に再検査がどうこうと盛り上がっているに過ぎない。仮に全てを特定して BBS に公表したり直接同胞に嫌がらせをするような行動を起こせば、その人物はシールに傷がつくだけ。まるでメリットがない。
That's an interesting way to look at it. I wonder what would is internet abuse and shaming not considered direct harm? Because I feel like it should count.
そうだよ。第一、アルエは何も後ろめたいことなんてしてないよ。
But she kind of did.
してますよ。これ以上ないくらい。
Hunter's voice sounded like she was practically forcing out every syllable.
お兄ちゃんから電話があったんですよ。再検査への風当たりが強くなってるって。もしこの BBS の情報をソースにしてたらお兄ちゃんの目に入っちゃう。お兄ちゃんが心配してお母さんに話すかもしれない。そしたら今度こそ私失望されちゃう。超人コードなんて関係なく本物のゴミになっちゃう。
アルエ、
She got up without listening to what Kotaro had to say. She went straight for the bookcase. She pulled all her manga off the shelves and threw them on the ground.
アルエ、何を。
全部私が悪いから。この人たちの言うことは正義の代弁だから。ゴミはゴミらしくおとなしく分別されるべきなんですよ。
ゴミなどと自分で言うのは
まだわからないんですか？中卒はそれだけで悪なんですよ。私こそがその証拠です。罪滅ぼしをするなんて言ってその現実から逃げてばっかりでタイムリープにまで引きこもって時間を巻き戻して昔の自分を繰り返してるだけなんですよ。何の成長もない。それもこれも中卒だから。中卒のくせに漫画なんかに夢中になってるから。
やめて、アルエ。
She freed herself and wrapped her manga in vinyl rope.
それどうする気？
捨てるんですよ。
アララには今の同胞が正気とは思えない。
正気ですよ。至って普通の思考です。だって人生設計が狂ったのも完 族を裏切ることになったのも、こんな事態になったのも、全部漫画がいけないんだ。漫画が私の人生を狂わせたんだ。
Manga. Those wonderful friends that kept Aure company till now are now being tied up in an inorganic vinyl. Attack on Tyranny. Tyranny, not Tyranny. Its cover depicted Aure as personal hero. She cheered Aure on through her darkest hours. She gave her courage when she was on the verge of breaking down. She became obsessed with the author, Mr. Minamiko Shigaya, and worked tirelessly to improve her own artistic skill. Curse you, hand! It was all her only source of comfort during these days of solitude. Even that.
これでやっと勉強に打ち込める。今からでも再検査に向けて打ち込めば、特定されてもゴミを見るみたいな目にさらされないで済む。
That's not true.
アルエ、やっぱりこんなの間違ってるよ。
もうやめてください。お願いだからそんな風に言わないで。未練がましく漫画なんて書かずに、初めからこうしておけばよかったんですよ。そりゃ初めは胸が痛んだりするでしょうけど、でもそれはいずれ風化します。人間ってどんなに辛いことでも時間が経つと痛みが消えていくものなんですよ。私にはその経験があるからわかります。だからこうすることは正しいです。自分の責任、家族への罪滅ぼしを邪魔するような漫画なんて捨てちゃうのが何よりも正しいことです。だから間違ってるなんて言って私を迷わせないで。
ごめんね、アルエ。けど、私はやっぱりアルエのしてることは間違ってると思う。だって漫画を捨てることが正しいって、それならどうして泣いてるの？
And there's the clincher right there. On the covers of the wrapped up manga fell a rain of tears, drop after drop. Actually, I think I like this one better. No. I don't even know what's right here. Because in a way you could argue that the manga has destroyed her life, but it hasn't really. Like, there's no, like, I don't know. Because, like, for most people, a manga wouldn't be a problem. But, like, I don't know, a good example of this would be, like, alcoholism. Like, majority of people can drink alcohol regularly and be okay. But for some people, it's a horrible addiction that takes control of their life and throws it to the ground. So, I don't know. Can she be addicted to it? Can it be bad enough that she should get rid of it? I don't know. Maybe.
そんなはずないのに。どうしてバカ。なんで今さらこんな。どうしてなの？私だってお母さんたちに罪滅ぼしするって決めてたはずでしょ。なのにどうして泣いてるの？何がしたいの？私は。
Grief. Without reason, or even philosophy, her heart simply cried out.
あのね、アルエ。どうして涙が出るかなんて簡単だよ。街で女の子と知り合ってね。私、その子に素晴らしい人生とは何って聞いたんだ。そしたら、その子はこう言ったよ。素晴らしい人生とは、好きな人のお嫁さんになること。
Oh, yeah.
私、その時気づいたんだ。好きになるのは男の人でもなければ、そもそも 人間じゃなくたっていいんだって。大事なのはたった一つの何かを一途に思えるようになること。
It's an interesting way to put it, but it's kind of cool.
とっても好きになった人と一生を添い遂げるんだよね、結婚って。
Yeah.
相手が人間じゃなければ、これだったら自分の一生を捧げてもいいかななんて思う何かなのかもしれない。わからない？アルエ、漫画がアルエにとってのそれなんだよ。小さい頃に恋をして、その初恋が今になっても冷めてないんだよ。本当は自分でも気づいてるんでしょ。アルエは漫画に恋をしてるんだ。
An absurdly yet such a right feeling to that.
きっとアルエには辛いことがたくさんあったんだよね。ごめんね。私もアララもその辛い体験をこの部屋みたいにシェアしてあげられない。だけど、だからこそ漫画に夢中なアルエしか知らない私たちだからね。これだけはわかるよ。アルエの恋は絶対に駆け落ちみたいな真似をしなくてもちゃんと愛を育んでいけば絶対幸せになれるって。
Running away to get married to
だから
manga.
さ、誰にも隠さないでいいんだよ。私たちにも家族の人にだって絶対に分かってくれる本当のアルエの気持ち。だってこんなに素敵な恋なんだもん。誇りに思わなきゃ。
小色さん。
さて、
She began to undo the ropes.
同胞は気が早い。荷造りはまだまだ先です。
ララちゃん。
大体が小色さんの言う通りです。世界救世主的に言わせてもらえば、これを捨てるなんてとんでもない。だってこれは同胞が一番好きなものなんでしょ。アララの研究がそうであるように、同胞の人生に欠いてはならないものなんでしょ。
同じですかね。
アララは世界を救うため、同胞は自分の人生のクオリティを上げるため、
Oh, that's cute too.
50% 以上合ってれば本質はだいたい一緒です。いいですか、同胞。漫画は同胞のソウル。それを否定されることは何よりも辛いはず。例えば心が砕け散るかと思うほど。だから自分を捨ててはいけません。あららも捨てないから。
By the way, it's playing by itself. I'm not clicking or anything.
言葉、今だけは有効にしてあげます。
同胞もついにあららの才能に気づいた模様。
Oh, like it was like sliding. You could see the background of the last slide. That was kind of weird.
私の罪滅ぼしのことなんですけど。
話さなくていいよ、アルエ。私は昔のアルエを知らなくていい。今のアルエだけでアルエを理解したいんだ。
その考え、あららもアグリーする。
それじゃあ私もこれまで通り2人の過去は詮索しません。
The three girls shared a smile.
なんだかお騒がせしました。
同胞の弱点は 明らかにコンフューズ状態に陥りやすいこと。そのテンパり癖を直さない限り、使徒にすら苦戦を強いられることでしょう。
Okay, so I apparently, without knowing, without much indication on the screen, had accidentally hit the auto button. So it's just that's why I was going without me clicking. But it's okay. I didn't want to stop anywhere in that anyway.
いや、戦いませんから。
では、何と戦うというの？
そうですね。まずはBBS の人たちと言いたいところですけど、
その前に立ち向かわなきゃいけない大敵がいるよね。
Yourself.
そろそろ決着の時でしょう。
はい、その通りです。
The three of them looked at the exact same spot.
ソウルディスペンサー。
They're gonna solve the question and move on to the next week, aren't they?
哲学に答えて、あれをやっつけましょう。同じ時間を繰り返しても、永遠に来週はやってこないから。いつまで経っても大事な人に本当の自分を打ち明けられないから。
It's amazing that they're gonna just accept this week where her stuff got posted online by someone.
大丈夫。心は決まりました。だから決着をつけて、来週に行きましょう。
Yeah. Alright.
では、改めてケツを取ります。もし、またタイムリープが可能になったとしても、このループ生活をやめるに賛成の人、手を挙げてください。満場一致ということで、これを最終決定とします。
Let's do this. Now that they all rejected time leaping, the soul link system would no longer accept the notion of a do-over. That was for the best. It was so they could move forward, so they could leave behind their extraordinary lives and return to their normal ones. The three of them solidified their resolve to take on the assignment.
これまでの経緯から、哲学とはノット哲学の立場を取っていることは自明であり、
言葉を一致させる必要はあるのかな。例えば、心の底から同じものを求めれば。
哲学である以上は明確に言語化できないといけないと思います。それに言葉にすればお互いの理解も確実に深まって。
Their outlook was very image of determination. A far cry from how they were at the beginning of the room sharing period. In retrospect, this may have been the first time. Not a single one of them ever wanting to run off and play. There was only water on the table with no snack in sight. It was a meeting. A Chuusotsu meeting. Or rather, a meeting between girls willing to resist an extraordinary phenomena. It was no easy task either.
思いつく限りの言葉を並べたけれど、
これといったものは、正直全部しっくりきませんね。
I don't know. Like, if I think the answer they're trying to find, it really is like the key to a wonderful life is love. To feel, to share, and to grow in love. She laid out about 50 words. None of them seemed reasonable. The clock was about to declare the start of a new day.
この辺りで一旦休憩にしませんか？
賛成。行き詰まったまま考えても。
何か別のことしてると。
じゃあ私ジュース買ってきます。2人ともコーラでいいですね。
Uh-oh.
コーラを3つっと。
She gathered up the 3 colas from the vending machine. She staggered a little.
ちょっと疲れすぎた？漫画のことで葛藤したり、落ち込んだり、個人情報特定されたり、いろんなことあったもんね。
Yes.
でも最後には自分を変えられるかもってとこまで来れた友達が。
A natural smile bloomed on her face. And then...
こんばんはですよ。
ココロちゃん、こんな夜中にどうしたんですか？
コーヒーを買いに来たですよ。
ああ、自販機。でもいくら近くても危ないから一人で出歩いちゃいけませんよ。
でも
Though her expression didn't change, she seemed to be conflicted.
わかりま ました。私がお部屋まで送ります。さあ、コーヒー買っちゃいましょうか。
わーい。
それじゃあ、ココロちゃん、おやすみなさい。
お姉さん、お姉さん。
何ですか？
眠たくなるまで
Aww.
本読んで。
5本。そっか、本当だったらご両親が。
絵本を読んでほしいですよ。
どうしよう、2人を待たせちゃうけど、気分転換にもなりそうだし。わかりました。あまり長いはできませんけど、それでいいなら。
わーい、わーい。
お邪魔しますって、そうだ、掃除もしてないんだった。
You know what, though? I think this is a good place to stop. Man, kind of went through the big battle, didn't we? Well, that was an emotionally charged episode, if I do say so. But, I think they're gonna figure things out. I think they're gonna break it to the next week. This picture book might lead to the answer they're looking for. But we'll leave that for the next episode, because this has been going on for a while, and I'm emotionally pretty drained. But I hope you guys don't mind. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much, and I hope to hear some of your thoughts on this. I mean, there's a lot of very touching personal subject matters that was covered here, and mostly I kind of want to hear what you guys think about, like, should when you feel really passionate about something, like, is it kind of like being married to it in a way? And, like, is that okay? I think it is, but like, I can also, the obsession can be a bad thing, so there's a limit there, but still, that's my thoughts on the matter, is that there are certain things it's worth putting your energy into and worthy to take up your time. Not all of us can agree on what those things are, but I don't know. It's hard, because, like, I mean, I think this YouTube channel is kind of a monument to a love. I love of visual novels and series of books that I really enjoy by Brandon Sanderson. I make content for it because it's something that's in my heart, and it's something that means a lot to me. And people definitely don't understand that, but that's okay. I think that there's something wonderful about being able to manifest and share something that means so much to you. And I don't even know if something that means that much to you necessarily needs to be something that you make something about, you know? I'd love to write a visual novel someday, but you can love visual novels and never dream of writing one. You can love manga, anime. You don't want your obsessions to control your life, but they can certainly give it context. And I think that's what really matters, is letting things give your life context. And then following up on that. Because oftentimes your passions can lead you to something truly wonderful to experience, like this. Like, again, I keep falling back to it, but this channel, making these videos, they fill me up and helped me through some of the harder times in my life and continue to inspire me. And I really miss it when I have to miss days. And I'm so proud of what we've accomplished together and that we're continuing to build. You know, will we ever have a ton of subscribers? No. Will we ever hit 1 million? I really don't think so. But that's not what makes it so joyful. It's simply sharing something I love with people who love it just as much, if not more. So thank you. I always say it, but I really do mean it, and that's why. Thanks for being around. Letting me share something that means so much to me with you, and cherishing the things that you say back. And, you know, just experiencing all of that together. So I appreciate it. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Have a great weekend. I hope a lot of you are able to go see Endgame if that's something you're interested in. And hopefully we get to all enjoy it. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel. And until the next video you watch with me or ever see me in next, I'll see you there.